Hello, welcome back to Mysterious Case. I just want to say that I always respect the victims and their loved ones. Everyone, please love and live well with those around you. Let's spread positivity. Now join me as we look back at the story of Andre Rebello. In 2020, Australia was shaken by a case that seemed straight out of a crime novel. In Perth, Western Australia, Andre Rebello, a young man living a glamorous life alongside his well-known partner, Gracie, suddenly became the center of attention. From the outside, they were the perfect couple, residing in a luxurious home, driving a gleaming Range Rover, and showcasing happy moments on social media. But behind that dazzling facade lurked a horrific secret waiting to be uncovered. Andre was accused of murdering his own mother, Colleen Rebello, to claim over $1 million in insurance money. The case shocked not only for its brutality, but also for the layers of masks that were gradually peeled away, exposing greed and deception. Colleen, a devoted mother, passed away suddenly on May 25, 2020, leaving her family in grief and confusion. Initially, her death was deemed natural, but unusual details soon fueled rising suspicions. The journey to unravel this case takes us through the dark corners of a family, from Andre's fabricated lavish lifestyle to the schemes woven from greed and failure. We will trace the path from that fateful day through a tense investigation to the trial that would determine Andre's fate. Could a son truly kill his own mother for money? And what is the cost of such deceit? Step into this story where the truth slowly comes to light. The Andre Rebello case is not just a family tragedy, but also a warning about the dark side of social media and the deadly temptations of wealth. Colleen Rebello, 58, was a strong and determined woman. After her divorce, she single-handedly raised her 4 children: Julian, Monique, Fabian, and Andre. Colleen's life was far from easy, but she never gave up on her dreams. At 58, she had just completed her master's degree and started a new job in the healthcare industry. A proud achievement not everyone accomplishes at this stage of life. Those around her described Colleen as a caring mother who always put her children first. She was in good health with only Hashimoto's disease, a thyroid disorder that did not severely impact her well-being. On May 25, 2020, Colleen's life came to an abrupt end. That morning, as usual, she drove her youngest son, Fabian, to his job at the supermarket, promising to pick him up at 2 p.m. However, when Fabian finished his shift, his mother didn't show up. Worried, he called her repeatedly, but received no response. Eventually, Fabian decided to walk home. Upon entering the house, he heard water running from the bathroom. After calling out to his mother with no reply, Fabian opened the door and was horrified to find Colleen lying motionless in the bathtub. She had passed away. Initially, Colleen's death was thought to be from natural causes, possibly related to a heart issue or her Hashimoto's condition. However, certain unusual details began to raise doubts in the family's mind. Colleen was still wearing her watch and jewelry while in the bathtub, something she had never done before when bathing. For someone as meticulous as Colleen, this was an odd sign. The non-slip mat, which Colleen always used for safety, was not in the bathroom at the time. Though these details weren't enough to draw an immediate conclusion, they planted seeds of suspicion in the minds of Colleen's children. Especially as they began to reflect on family dynamics, dark secrets involving Andre, one of her sons, started to surface, prompting the question, was Colleen's death truly an accident? To the eyes of millions of social media followers, Andre Rebello and Gracie were icons of success and happiness. Meeting in 2015, when Andre was just 19, they quickly rose to become a power couple in Perth, Western Australia. Gracie, a renowned influencer with over 1 million Instagram followers and hundreds of thousands of YouTube subscribers, was the shining star. She earned hundreds of thousands of dollars annually from advertising deals, transforming herself from a gym receptionist into a fashion icon. Andre, meanwhile, took on the role of her financial manager and assistant, dropping out of university to support Gracie's career. Their life appeared to be a dream. Lavish vacations, a spacious home in Beaconsfield, a gleaming white Range Rover, and an adorable young son featured in their posts. They frequently shared photos from expensive hotels, living a lifestyle envied by many. Andre also ventured into cryptocurrency investments, branding himself a master with ambitions of earning millions. But it was all a carefully constructed facade. Beneath the glamorous surface, Andre and Gracie were drowning in debt. The luxurious house they flaunted, rented for $880 a week. The Range Rover, financed through installments with payments often overdue. The extravagant trips, mostly sponsored by brands, not funded from their own pockets. By May 2020, the couple owed over 120,000 Australian dollars, including rent, car loans, and $40,000 in taxes that Gracie was unaware of, since Andre controlled all their finances. Andre's cryptocurrency investments, which he had once proudly boasted about, were a disastrous failure. After 3 years, he had earned a mere $22, a stark contrast to the $500,000 profit he had promised Gracie. The mounting financial pressure weighed heavily on Andre, and in his desperation, he began to consider a ruthless escape, turning his own mother into a lifeline for his mistakes. As financial pressure suffocated Andre Rebello's life, he didn't seek to fix his mistakes or face the truth. Instead, he chose a cold and ruthless path, turning his mother, Colleen Rebello, into an unwilling savior. Just 1 week before May 25th, 2020, the day Colleen died, Andre quietly executed a chilling plan. He took out 3 life insurance policies in his mother's name, totaling 1.15 million Australian dollars. The most suspicious detail? He designated himself as the sole beneficiary, completely excluding his 3 siblings, Julian, Monique, and Fabian, from any benefits. Colleen had never shown favoritism among her children, so why would she agree to let Andre be the only one to receive the insurance payout? The answer became increasingly clear. She had no knowledge of this scheme. Andre acted in secret, using his mother's personal information to set up the policies. He believed that if she died, this massive sum would not only erase his debts, but also allow him to maintain his image as a successful crypto investor in the eyes of Gracie and their followers. On the morning of May 25th, 2020, Colleen dropped Fabian off at work, while Andre stayed home with Gracie and her cousin, preparing for a lunch outing. But around midday, Andre suddenly vanished without explanation. Gracie, confused and worried, called him 12 times and sent a flurry of texts. "Where are you? Why aren't you answering?" But Andre remained silent. His phone pinged cell towers near Colleen's house from 10:40 to 11:30 a.m., indicating he was there for about 45 to 50 minutes. Colleen's sister later testified that she saw a car resembling Andre's Range Rover parked outside Colleen's home around 1:30 p.m., a time when Andre claimed he had long since left. When he returned home at 2 p.m., Andre acted calm, as if nothing had happened, and asked Gracie, "Where are we going for lunch?" His eerie nonchalance stunned Gracie, but she had no idea that, at that very moment, Fabian was discovering his mother's lifeless body in the bathroom. On May 25th, 2020, when Fabian Rebello stepped into the house after his work shift, he could never have imagined he was about to confront a scene that would haunt him for life. The sound of running water from the bathroom led him to a horrifying discovery. His mother, Colleen Rebello, was motionless, kneeling on the bathtub floor, slumped against the wall, showing no signs of life. In a panic, Fabian pulled her out, covered her with a towel, and called emergency services. He tried everything, including CPR, but Colleen's body was already cold, her face and neck tinged with a strange grayish-blue hue. When paramedics arrived, all efforts were futile. Colleen was gone. Initially, the police and family assumed Colleen had died of natural causes, possibly related to a heart condition or her Hashimoto's disease. The autopsy couldn't pinpoint an exact cause of death, and the house showed no signs of a break-in. Every door and window was securely locked, but small details at the scene began to unravel this theory. Colleen was still wearing her watch and jewelry, items she always removed before bathing. For someone as meticulous as her, this was unusual. She wasn't lying on her back or fallen backward as in a typical accident. Instead, she was kneeling and leaning against the wall, an unnatural position for a simple faint. The mat Colleen always used to prevent slipping was neatly folded beside the tub, unused. Fabian and Monique, his sister, who returned home shortly after, began to feel uneasy. Their mother showed no signs of depression or suicidal intent. She had just earned her degree and was excited about her new job. So why had she died so suddenly? When they contacted their brother Julian, the three started noticing Andre's odd behavior. Just days after Colleen's death, Andre swiftly requested payouts from 3 life insurance policies he had taken out in her name, a detail none of the family had known about beforehand. Suspicion grew when one insurance company flagged forged documents in Andre's claim, an incorrect birth date, fabricated medical reports, and even a fake will naming him as the sole heir. Western Australia police launched an investigation, and what they uncovered next would shake the Rebello family to its core. Was Andre not just a fraud, but a murderer? Following Colleen Rebello's sudden death, Western Australia police initially did not treat it as a criminal case. But that changed when an insurance company contacted them weeks later, accusing Andre Rebello of fraud. 2 of the 3 insurance companies rejected Andre's claims, citing the short time frame between the policy's purchase and Colleen's death. The 3rd company, while considering payment, uncovered serious irregularities in the paperwork. Colleen's birth date was incorrectly listed as Andre's. A fabricated medical report claimed she died of a ruptured aneurysm, and a fake will designated Andre as the sole heir. Notably, he had even used AI technology to create a forged recording of his mother's voice to bolster his story. In September 2020, police executed search warrants on Colleen's home in the residence of Andre and Gracie. They installed listening devices in the couple's bedroom and cameras in their living room, monitoring their activities for 3 months. The recordings revealed the truth. Gracie was entirely unaware of the insurance scheme or Andre's actions. During a heated argument, she angrily confronted him. "What did you do to drag us into this mess? If you killed your mom, you're going to prison." Andre, in contrast, replied confidently, "I'll get the money and leave the country before they catch me." Though there was no direct physical evidence like fingerprints or DNA, the police began piecing together a clear picture. Andre's phone pinged cell towers near Colleen's house from 10:40 to 11:30 a.m. on May 25th, and Colleen's sister confirmed seeing his Range Rover parked outside at 1:30 p.m., contradicting his claim that he had left before noon. Andre's computer had its internet history wiped clean from December 2019 to July 2020, but subsequent searches included aneurysm and Word document assistance, signs he was preparing falsified documents. Just 1 week before Colleen's death, Andre purchased the 3 insurance policies, and a mere 3 days after she passed, he hastily requested the payouts. When police re-interviewed Julian, Monique, and Fabian, the siblings were horrified to learn about the insurance policies and fake will. Julian discovered that Andre had redirected all of their mother's mail to his own address, even though Monique and Fabian still lived at Colleen's house. Suspicion was no longer a theory. Andre might have killed his mother for money. But would the police have enough evidence to bring him to justice? On November 11th, 2022, Andre Rebello was arrested and formally charged with murder and insurance fraud. After 2 years of investigation, his trial began in October 2024 in Perth, Western Australia, spanning 8 tense weeks. With no direct physical evidence, no fingerprints, no footage of the crime, the case relied entirely on circumstantial evidence. Yet with a detailed web woven from Andre's actions, the prosecution was confident they could expose the truth. The prosecution painted a chilling picture. Andre, drowning in over 120,000 Australian dollars in debt, had planned to kill his mother to claim 1,150,000 Australian dollars in insurance money. They pointed to Andre purchasing 3 insurance policies just 1 week before Colleen's death and requesting payouts only 3 days after. Phone data and witness testimony, Colleen's sister seeing Andre's Range Rover at 1:30 p.m., contradicting his claim that he left his mother's house before noon. Andre forging a will, medical reports, and even using AI to create a fake audio recording, designating himself as the sole beneficiary. They argued that Andre may have used a pillow to smother Colleen, explaining minor scratches on her eyebrow and arm, details initially overlooked. Her unusual kneeling position, intact jewelry, and the unused non-slip mat further supported the theory that her death was staged to appear natural. Andre steadfastly denied the murder charge, though he admitted to insurance fraud. The defense argued that Colleen's death was natural, possibly due to an arrhythmia or brain aneurysm, and the autopsy's failure to determine a specific cause was evidence of his innocence. Andre testified that he visited his mother on the morning of May 25th because she was anxious about turning 60 and wanted insurance to protect the family. He claimed he intended to share the money with his siblings, but couldn't explain why he was listed as the sole beneficiary. Julian, Monique, and Fabian attended the trial, heartbroken to see the brother they once loved accused of killing their mother. Andre's father, Antonio, was also present, unable to hold back tears as the allegations unfolded. In contrast, Andre showed little emotion, sitting silently as the jury deliberated. After 2 days of deliberation, on December 5th, 2024, the verdict was delivered. Andre Rebello was found guilty of murder. The courtroom fell into a heavy silence as justice finally spoke. On December 5th, 2024, as the jury declared Andre Rebello guilty of murdering his mother, Colleen Rebello, the courtroom was engulfed in a suffocating silence. The 28-year-old, who once basked in a fabricated glow of glamour, now faced a life sentence without parole. The official sentencing was scheduled for April 2025, but the verdict was unequivocal. Andre had not only lost his freedom, but also everything he had tried to preserve through greed and deception. Beyond the murder conviction, he would also face additional penalties for insurance fraud, a crime he had admitted to. For Julian, Monique, and Fabian, the verdict was a double-edged sword. Justice had been served for their mother, but it came at the cost of their family's disintegration. They couldn't fathom why Andre, the brother who had grown up alongside them under Colleen's care, could kill their own mother for money. Julian, who had moved into their mother's house after her death to sort through paperwork, discovered Andre had secretly redirected her mail and seized all inheritance rights. Monique and Fabian, still living in their mother's home, were haunted by the thought that Andre had entered that day to end Colleen's life. Andre's father, Antonio, broke down in tears upon hearing the verdict. He couldn't accept that his son, raised in a fractured family after a divorce, had plummeted to such moral depths. Colleen's legacy, a devoted mother and a resilient woman who overcame adversity, was now tainted by her own son's actions. Gracie Piscopo, once the center of Andre's world, became an unwitting victim in this whirlwind of crime. Surveillance recordings confirmed she had no knowledge of the insurance scheme or Colleen's death. Her reputation suffered severe damage, sponsors pulled away, and she faced the prospect of single motherhood. Yet by 2025, Gracie began to find light again. She started a new relationship with a man said to genuinely love her and her son, Romeo, promising the stability she deserved after the nightmare. Andre had believed the insurance money would rescue him from debt and solidify his crypto king image in Gracie's eyes. But that plan backfired, dragging him to the depths of failure. From a man living in a false spotlight, he was now just a prisoner, confined not only by bars but also by the contempt of his family and society. The Andre Rebello case is not just a tale of crime, but a tragedy of greed, deceit, and the cost of living beyond one's means. From an ordinary son in a Perth, Western Australia family, Andre rose to prominence through his relationship with Gracie Piscopo, a well-known influencer. But behind the glamorous social media photos was a life drowning in debt, sustained by lies and illusions. When it all came crashing down, he chose the most ruthless path, murdering his mother, Colleen Rebello, to claim 1.15 million Australian dollars in insurance money. On May 25, 2020, Colleen died under mysterious circumstances, and Andre thought he could escape justice. But justice, though slow, eventually caught up with him. The investigation spanned over 2 years, amassing a web of circumstantial evidence, from Andre purchasing insurance policies just a week before his mother's death, to his presence at the scene with inconsistencies in his statements and a slew of forged documents. The trial in October 2024 concluded with a verdict on December 5th. Andre was found guilty of murder, facing a life sentence without parole, with formal sentencing set for April 2025. Though lacking direct physical evidence, the network of deception he wove became the rope that bound him to justice. Colleen Rebello left behind a remarkable legacy, a resilient single mother who overcame hardships to earn a master's degree and start a new career at 58. Her death not only stole an extraordinary woman, but tore her family apart. Julian, Monique, and Fabian lost their mother, their brother, and the trust they once had. Gracie, though innocent, bore the fallout of the scandal, but is striving to rebuild her life. This case serves as a stark warning about the dark side of social media, where a glossy exterior can mask painful truths. Andre Rebello didn't just kill his mother, he destroyed the image he once tried to craft. Greed transformed him from a son into a murderer, leaving a haunting question: is money worth sacrificing family and conscience?